Well, it was a day full of great old coins and some very cool relics. Well, welcome to Finding America. It is really nice to see you here. Now, I just couldn't resist going back to the site of that very old college that I featured in last week's episode. And having hunted that place for so many years, I was amazed at all the things that I had found. So I decided to pack up the Minelab Manticore and the MA coil and head right back there to pick up where I'd left off. Well, once again, I was amazed at all the things I was finding, and I had a really great time out there, and I hope you enjoy coming along on this one. Well, picking up where I left off last week, and I was getting a 43 signal. Sounded kind of a bit large, and it definitely turned out to be something very large. It's an old spare tire lug wrench. Definitely old school, and been in the ground a very long time. So, interesting first good target, I guess you'd call it good. And yeah, we'll see what the rest of the day has for us. Well, my next signal was right up against this old tree. It's giving me a 28 and about 5 inches down. Dug it up and I got an old let's see, old Jefferson. So, and believe it or not, it's the same year as the silver quarter I found last weekend, 1940. So I will definitely take that. It just shows you how many times you hunt it, there's always something you missed, or there's always something that was out of reach of your last machine. And yeah, the Manticore is just really killer at sniffing out these low tones. For that matter, all tones. Well, this is pretty cool. I got that 1940 Jefferson right there up against this tree, and then I stood up after I filled the hole in and ran my coil over, got a nice sounding 25, about 4 inches deep this time, and look at there. Looks like I got another nickel. Yeah, before I dug this hole, I said, let this one be a buffalo. So we're gonna find out. Let's see, I think it's gonna be a I'll get out. I should have said shield nickel. I didn't know they were taking orders. Look at that. It's a buffalo. Can you believe it? I bet you they were in the same pocket together. Isn't that awesome? There you go. You can see the buffalo there. Oh, that is awesome. That is truly awesome. That is so cool. And I called it. Well, not exactly. I was wishing for it, and yeah, I got my wish. Let me get this cleaned up a little bit and see if we got even luckier and can see a date on it. Well, there you have it. I believe it's a 1923. It looks like Philadelphia. So, very cool, and not too bad. A little nickel spill. Pretty cool when you could hold a buffalo and a Jefferson in your pocket. Well, right up there I got the nickel spill right next to the tree, and I just kind of worked my way down here and got a 38, 39 signal. And I don't know if this is going to be a day of spills or what, but check this out. Not quite as good, is it? But it's pretty unusual. Definitely older pull tabs, but just wanted to show you that not all spills come up nickels. Sometimes pair pull tabs. Well, I'm back in that iron patch, seeing if I can find anything else like what I found last week. This one's giving me a 32. I knew it was going to be iron and a long target. It was underneath this root, and I pulled it out. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. The reason I'm showing it to you, hopefully the wind isn't starting to get into the microphone, but look how it's open at this end. It's flared out and open. It's pretty unusual. So I am not really sure what that is, but I'm going to film it just in case it turns out to be something interesting or not. But yeah, neat little find. And we'll keep on going here. Well, I have been digging a ton of garbage for the past hour, and this was another garbage type signal. Give me a 46. I'm like, let's clear this one out. But hallelujah, this one was not garbage this time. Check it out. Some kind of button. I saw it fall out into the hole, back into the hole, and I grabbed the camera. So probably going to be military with this gold finish on it. Yeah. Definitely. Very cool. I know the wind's kicking up right on top of me, but very nice little button right there. I think this might be one that went on the hat band. So, very cool. Not really sure how old it is, but I would definitely take it. It's a nice little find. Well, I think I'm very happy with this signal. Oh, I've been digging so much garbage, especially right in this area. It's just been Coke cans and aluminum, and I'm just clearing out because I know there's old stuff here. This one gave me, oh shoot, let me think. Let me run the coil over it. Yeah, a 46, but it said it was iron. But then I saw there was a conductive signature on the image tracer. So I'm like, well, let's go for it. So I went ahead and cut a plug. It said it was still in the hole. I sunk my digger and gave it a pop, and I wanted to show you how I saw it. I just let it fall right back down. But look at there. That is something that I have found a lot of here. That is an incredible looking sash buckle. Saw it immediately and just let it fall back into the ground so you can see it the way I saw it. Oh, how awesome is that? Absolutely incredible. I have dug so many of these, and if you checked out the video at the end of last week's video, the link to it, you would have seen me find an entire hoard of these sash buckles. Yeah, who knows, I might even have the mate to it somewhere in my collection. That is incredible. Let me get it sprayed off and I'll give it a quick brush so you can see what it looks like. But they are absolutely beautiful. This is the female portion. There would have been an identical opposing half that would have gone over here, and then it would have had a tongue that would have fit into this slot, and that would have been connected to the belt. So let me get it cleaned up. We'll get another look at it, but I knew there had to be at least one more of these still out there. Well, there it is. I had to get my back to the wind here. It is howling, but this is a beauty. I don't know if you can make it out, but it's beautiful flowers on vines. So I will get this cleaned up. I'll put it in apple cider vinegar. Probably won't take very long, and get you a better look at it when I get home. But absolutely love finding these. These are going to be from 1870 to late Edwardian, so even into the teens, they use sash buckles. And so I'm just very happy to have this one. And that was a welcome sight after all those Coke cans. Well, I now know why it was giving me an iron signal. I dug that sash buckle right here, and right next to it I got a nice little 38 and dug down, and I don't know, I just seem to have a knack for finding these. That is most of a railroad spike, and thankfully not only did I get an awesome sash buckle, but I also get to show you an awesome train picture. Well, I was pretty impressed with this one. The Manticore gave me a nice little signal, and I kept saying it was iron this way and iron that way, but I saw a little bit on the conductive side on the screen, and then I was getting a little bit of a high tone. I could isolate it, so I've been doing some digging, and I finally waded through a few nails, and down at the bottom, I'd say about 7-8 inches, I got a nice little weedy. That was a heck of a nice surprise. And that's going to be a 1951 from the Denver Mint, and yeah, it did an amazing job picking that out of the iron, so very happy with that one. Well, I managed to get 3 very fun hours in before the storm front hit and forced me to head back home. But I knew I just had to get back to that spot the very next morning to see what else I could find. Well, I was pretty shocked because as soon as I started swinging my coil, I started popping some very cool finds. Well, I decided to switch over to the big 15-inch coil, the M15 on the Manticore. Just see if I could get anything out of here. This portion's been hammered to death, but last week I found that Morristown College spoon out here, and I finally got a decent signal. Been digging up a lot of deep trash, and but this one's kind of interesting. It was giving me a 33 to 38 signal, repeatable, real obvious signal, which is amazing after I saw what it is. This was kind of on its side, and I put it back in. I wanted you to see just how I saw it, but check this out. Isn't that cool? That is very cool. I can't tell if that was part of a pocket knife or a butter knife. Yeah, it's hard to say. I think it might have gone extended out further and had a handle, but that is very cool. I will get that cleaned up. Maybe we'll get lucky and something will be on it, but that's a neat little find. Pretty impressive too, because it seemed to have been lying on its side. So very happy with that one. Well, I decided to put the M8 coil back on. That big 15-inch coil, just not the right place for it. A lot of houses and buildings were torn down here, so I was getting all kinds of pipes and fixtures and things in the ground. So I put this back on, and this is my first good signal since I did that, and it's getting to 25. And sure enough, check it out. I think I got another nickel, and it looks old. I just left it right where it was. Let's see the imprint. I'm thinking it's an older one. It just doesn't. Let's see. Ooh, heck yeah. I got a V nickel. Oh yeah. Yeah, that was only about 4 inches down. Surrounded by garbage, and I'm definitely going to be able to get a date off this one. Well, there she is. And it appears to be a 1903. It could be 1905. I don't know. I'll have to try to work on it a little bit more when I get home, but you can clearly see the wreath and the V on the backside. See, the wind's kicking up, of course. But that is all right with me. One of my favorite coins to dig. Liberty Head nickel. Very cool. Very happy with that. And yeah, this is a spot that we have been over a million times over the years. So, did a great job picking that one out. Well, I am just going low and very slow. Lots of targets here, mostly iron, so I'm just working my way and picking out the good signals. And once I get a decent signal, I just sort of wiggle the coil over until I can isolate that really good tone, and it'll just emerge from the iron. This one was giving me a 32, and I wasn't expecting much, but it does turn out to be something. I put it back on the plug where I found it, but I don't know if it's a button or a cap, but it does have some type of initials on it, kind of like a fancy monogram. So I'm gonna have to get that cleaned up later, see what it is exactly. Definitely old, probably around the era of that nickel I just found, early 1900s. So nice little piece, and I'll get it cleaned up when I get back home. But yeah, definitely happy with that little target. Next target in the middle of this iron was giving me, let me think, this one was a 39. It's about 4 inches down, and I got something that I really enjoy finding. It's been a little while since I got one. A little bale seal. It's kind of an unusual one. Not sure what that is in the center. I can make out the letter R, and the other side has the package location. So I can make out 79 over A. Now that would actually be like the train car and the location of where the package is supposed to go. And these would have been punched out by the people working on the trains and loading them up. And it's a pretty cool piece, and I definitely enjoy finding these old bale seals. And it's definitely a pretty old one here too. Late 1800s, early 1900s would be a good guess on this one. So, great little find. Definitely happy to have that one. Well, I got a target right here, and it turned out to be something pretty cool. But before I show you that, I wanted to show you something that I like to do once I find a little hot spot. Now that stick, I stuck that in the ground where I dug that V-nickel. And because I wanted to remember where it was, and I also wanted to concentrate on this area. And one of the main reasons is because when I dug that V-nickel, that dirt had never been disturbed. It was good old dirt. It had a serious halo around that nickel. So I know it hadn't been disturbed for 100 years. So I broke off to the right here, and I found that button with the fancy initials on it. And then I found the bale seal over here, and I kept moving around. And I isolated a nice signal here. It was low, 20, but it just sounded really good, and I wanted to dig it up. And it turned out to be a clump of iron, but after I knocked a little bit off of it, check it out, some kid's old jack. So some kids were playing jacks out here, and that's one of the ones they forgot to pick up and take inside. So pretty cool little find, and just a little tip on how I hunt out here, and maybe it'll be helpful for you when you're out in your fields. Well, another cool find. It's getting a 28 this time. A little high for a nickel, but I dug a plug, flipped it over, said it was in the plug, and I just wiped away a little bit of dirt. And check out this buckle. I don't think I've ever found one quite like that. Definitely an unusual shape. And it definitely looks really old. You look at the halo here, look how dark that dirt was. It takes a little while to do that, so pretty cool brass buckle. Let's see if I can match it up. I mean, I've definitely found quite a bit of Civil War relics in this area, so not saying it dates back that far, but it definitely has a possibility. Well, here's my next one. Just swinging along, going really slow, and managed to get a really nice 48 signal, repeatable, Just sounded beautiful. Dug down, pulled a big nail out, but then it said my target was still in the hole. Now I've cleaned it to save a little bit of time. And I love finding these, but I've never found one like this. Look at that. It's octagonal, 8-sided, and it's an old collar stud for the old paper collars. Now, these would have been worn by men and women back in the day. They were pretty fashionable, and they began in the 1800s, and paper collars still stuck around as until about 1930. So this is a very cool one, and it has a circular design on it, and you can still see some of the gold finish. So that is awesome. I've never found one that was 8-sided before. So very happy to have that. Ah, nice little hot spot right here. Well, that M8 coil's come through again. I'm still working the area where I found that V-nickel, and it's right there, roughly, where I have that stick. And got a 2425, definitely not the cleanest signal I've ever heard in my life, but I managed to isolate it, and I went for it. And about 4 inches down, I gave it a pop, and look what fell out of the dirt clod. Looks like another nickel. Definitely my day for nickels. I will not complain about that. I think this one's going to be old as well. Oh yeah. It's definitely not a Jefferson. What have we got here? Oh, this is not a punch out. Oh no. It might be. Let's see. What in the world is that? No. It's another V-nickel. Can you believe it? See Lady Liberty right there. Another V-nickel. Wow. I'd say about 15 feet from where I got that first one. Wow, this one's quite a bit more worn. I almost thought it was a punch out, but now I can see a wreath on the back. Let me get it cleaned up, see if I can get a date off this one. Well, there we go. And I can make out the date. It looks like 1899. How cool is that? Yeah, and it was a pretty nice nickel when it was lost. It's just gotten quite a bit of environmental damage to it since then. But you can see the V on the back, but I think it's got a full Liberty on the headband, on the crown on top of her head. So I am definitely happy with that. That's incredible. 2 V-nickels, a Buffalo, and an old Jefferson. Hey, all I need is that shield nickel. And believe it or not, there was a shield nickel that Jason found not very far from where I am right now. So there's always hope. Well, that was a pretty hard hunt. I dug a ton of holes and I found a lot of garbage, but I also came away with a lot of very cool finds. And one thing I can definitely say about this hunt, it was worth every nickel. Now, I also want to wish everyone out there watching a very happy Easter coming up. And if you still haven't gotten enough Finding America yet today, all you have to do is stick around to the very end of this episode, where I have a link to an amazing video from the Finding America archives waiting there for you. And I'd say I found a pretty killer bucket lister in this one. And remember, it's history that makes a find a treasure. And I can't wait to see you back here next week on Finding America.